So the way I was able to lose 10 pounds was pretty simple. The first thing I did was change my diet. The second thing I did was I incorporated a lot of walking. It's low intensity cardio. And then the third thing I did was I was just consistent with it. Yeah, if you're anything like me, you'd like to take a lot of shirtless photos. And, you know, when you look as good as I do, when you got the guns popping out, baby, you're gonna want to take a couple shirtless photos here and there. So I'm in Europe at the time. And Europe's extremely scenic. It's extremely beautiful. So I asked a couple of my buddies I was with, hey, snap me up a couple photos real quick. Later, when they send them over to me, I'm looking through the photos, man. And, you know, I'll be taking the shirtless photos. And I'm just like, I'm getting kind of chubby. I'm getting kind of fat. You know, I see the fat rolls starting to form. You know, my gut was starting to protrude. You know, you start to see the man boobs. They start to kind of form. And then, you know, the love handles were popping out, man. So I was like, you know, I don't really like it, man. I don't really like it. And whenever I would sit down, I could feel my fat rolls kind of plopping on top of each other. So I'm like, all right, something's got to change, man. I don't like the way I look right now. Yeah, so instead of blaming my fiance for making fatty foods or whoever does the cooking in your house, I decided, hey, I got to take matters into my own hands and start, you know, meal prepping myself and doing things myself. I also used to work at the mall, so at the mall, you know, they would always have the food court downstairs or whatever. And with the food court, they would always have the fatty Chinese food, the fast food, all that bad junk food, man. You got to cut that out of your diet. So the way I was able to lose 10 pounds was pretty simple. All right, the first thing I did was I changed my diet and I went on a caloric deficit where I prioritized protein. The second thing I did was I incorporated a lot of walking. It's low intensity cardio. And then the third thing I did was I was just consistent with it. All right, so in this photo, I was actually eating around 2,200 calories a day. And I actually ate really clean. You know, foods that are low fat, not a lot of oil. I'd also do maybe one cheat meal a week, which I still do now. But I ate a lot of carbs. I was thinking if I ate low fat foods that I would still lose weight, but that isn't the case. You'll still gain weight if your calories are more than your body needs. So in this photo, I was eating around 1,600 calories, but I kept my protein intake high. I reduced the amount of carbs I was eating and added on more protein. But keep in mind, everybody's body is different. I also used something called a calorie calculator. This is a learning journey. You'll figure out what works for you. I do recommend, in order to maintain and build muscle, I'd shoot for maybe around 0.7 to 0.9 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So for example, if you're 100 pounds, you'd want to eat around 70 to 90 grams of protein a day to maintain and build muscle. Yeah, so before my fat loss journey, I would maybe do around 4,000 steps a day. And that was just regular walk into the grocery store or whatever. I was pretty sedentary. But now I purposefully walk maybe 15 to 20,000 steps a day. So that's around maybe 2 to 3 hours a day of just straight walking. If you're short on time, I do recommend you get something called a treadmill desk. You can buy those on Amazon for around, I think, 500 to $1,000, but it'll allow you to work while burning fat. You can also track your steps with your phone. It's super easy. And the last step is super simple. It's just staying consistent. It's only 2 things you have to do. Fix your diet and just walk. It's super simple. The hardest part, I'd say, would be finding time, because it takes maybe 1 to 2 hours of your day to walk, and your diet, because we're all surrounded by McDonald's on every corner. There's a Chick-fil-A here. So it's very tempting to just grab something quick to eat. Also, diet doesn't have to mean eating a bunch of leafy green salads and some fatty ranch dressing. All right, so in conclusion, the end goal is to lose fat, not muscle, okay? You want to lose the fat, all right? Not the muscle. Ugh. That being said, don't pay too much attention to the weight scale. So muscle's more dense than fat. What that basically means is muscle, although it looks smaller, it's gonna weigh more than fat. Also, fat makes you look bloated. You don't want to look bloated. So the best and the quickest way to burn fat is by a combination of both diet and exercise. It's mainly going to be your diet though. So you can't outwork a bad diet, all right? It's extremely hard. You can, but you're going to waste a lot of time by doing that. It also isn't going to matter if your calories come from fat or carbohydrates. Just make sure you maintain enough protein, okay? You want to make sure to keep your protein intake high so that you can maintain your muscle mass and continue to build your muscle mass while you're losing fat. You don't want to burn muscle. You want to burn fat, all right? Muscle's good. Muscle accentuates your figure, okay? It makes you look better. So you want to keep that muscle and retain that muscle. All right, so to reiterate, you basically want to change your diet. You want to start cooking at home. You want to be on something called a caloric deficit, basically meaning you want to burn more calories than you're putting in your body. So start tracking your calories. Second thing you want to do is start incorporating walking. I do 15 to 20,000 steps a day. Walking's perfect because it doesn't use that much energy and it's easy on your joints. So if you have injuries, this is perfect. It's a low intensity cardio. And lastly, this one's the most important, all right? You want to stay consistent, because if you don't stay consistent, you're not going to see any results. You're basically going to treat this like a full-time job. You're going to have to show up to work regardless of how you feel, or else at work you'll get fired. Same goes for your body. That's why you hear the term,
"Oh, I let myself go,"
all the time, because it's pretty common. Everything has to be maintained. Everything in life is temporary when it comes to expenses, when it comes to, you know, your partner, whatever it is. You know, everything's temporary. Everything's kind of borrowed. It's rented, all right? Same goes with your body, and you're going to have to take care of yourself. Anyway, subscribe if you like these type of videos, and send this to a friend who's trying to lose some fat.